welcome back to my channel, and today I decided we're gonna talk about something because I think a lot of people think that it's not okay. I'm gonna tell y'all it's okay to not be okay. I'm telling y'all this because everybody always acts like you have to be smiling, you have to be happy 24/7, and that's just not realistic. You don't have to be happy and 24/7. Not 24/7. You don't have to be happy all the time. You don't have to be smiling all the time. I just think it's weird, like, when people expect others to be happy and smiling all the time when we always know that they aren't. Like, we know you are always happy 24/7, but I don't think that you should feel bad for it, you know? And so many people try and guilt others for not being happy. It's like, just because like somebody else might have other things going on, like, you can be upset about something, but that doesn't mean that, like, let me explain it this way. Just because somebody else might have to raise kids doesn't mean you're not allowed to be upset about whatever else. Just because somebody else has to work more than you do a week does not mean doesn't mean you don't have the right to be upset about something. You know, and I think a lot of people act like you should not, like, if you're feeling any negative emotion, that it's just this awful thing. And if you're happy 24/7, then that's amazing. But at the same time, though, it shouldn't be a thing of where you have to be okay all the time, because you don't always have to be okay, and it's okay to not be okay. And I'm so sick of people acting like you have to be smiling or happy, and just because you don't have all these worries in the world, especially teenagers, because you would not believe the amount of parents that will tell their child, what do you have to be upset for? You don't pay bills, you don't have to work a job or anything like that. But just because somebody else might have problems that are big in their world doesn't mean you don't have problems that might be going on in your world too. And so I just think that people have to stop telling others that it's like that you shouldn't be upset about something all because they have it harder. Because at the end of the day, you never know what somebody's fully going through unless you are them. And so I just think that maybe other people need to learn that not everybody is going to have the same struggles or issues, and that's okay. Because honestly, you shouldn't want to have the same struggles and issues as somebody else. It's like, you don't have to be okay. You don't have to be perfect. And I think a lot of people keep having these expectations that, just because you're upset, it's okay to be sad. Being sad can last a day, a week, a year. It's fine. But people have you shouldn't feel bad or feel guilty for being upset. That's the thing. You shouldn't feel guilty for that kind of thing, because that's a human emotion. People like to make a range of emotions like it's only happy and sad, but anger is also an emotion. That's something I don't like either. It's how people like to categorize being emotional as just sad, when in reality, being every single emotion, anger is an emotion, and I'm sick of people acting like anger isn't an emotion. Being mad is an emotion, being angry is an emotion. And so when you act like these things can't be emotions, I think it honestly does more harm than good, because you're basically saying, because you only view sadness as an emotion, or being emotional, you would not realize how many times people will be called emotional while somebody else with anger issues isn't called that. Anger is an emotion. So somebody with anger issues that's always mad is emotional. Somebody that's always sad is emotional. Somebody that's always happy, emotional. These are emotions. And so I just think that you can be like, well, people generally do mean sad. But that's the thing. People always want to categorize sad as like the most biggest emotion ever. You would not believe, I meet more people that are angry all the time than people that are sad and sad all the time. And so I also think you can feel whatever you want to feel, and that's fine, you know? Because not everybody's the same. Not everybody has the same range. Some people are more empathetic than others, right? So something bad happening to somebody else can make somebody else, like that person, upset because they feel for that person, you know? Some people are just more empathetic. Some people are only, my feelings, and that's fine. That's perfect, actually. But some people are also more empathetic towards others, and so they try and put themselves in other people's shoes based off the experiences they've had, or because they want people to see their point of view as well. And so I think that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to be mad, sad, happy, angry, confused, all these different things. And I think it's upsetting and sad, honestly, that as people, if you're not allowed to be upset or mad or sad. You're not allowed to express whatever emotion it is, because it's like a shameful thing. But the thing is, everybody keeps acting like it's unhealthy or it's not normal to share an emotion, then eventually that piles up. It's why do you think, like, you notice how when somebody's getting bullied in school, this will be a whole different video topic, by the way, bullying. But you guys ever notice when somebody's being bullied in school, it's always like it's never taken seriously until it gets to a final point to where somebody, that kid isn't here anymore, or until that kid snaps. And so I think, or until that kid's in the hospital. So I just think that people have to stop acting like it's a shameful thing. It's like, you have emotions. You're a human being. If you did not have emotions, and then that's concerning. And so you just have to think about how it's okay to be upset. It's okay to be mad. If somebody's trying to make you feel guilt for being a human being, maybe you shouldn't be surrounding yourself with that person, because at the end of the day, nobody's the same. People can be the same, but at the end of the day, nobody will ever truly be the same, because you never know what somebody else is going through. You never know what somebody else is dealing with, right? So you can't sit and say, oh, da-da-da-da about this person when you don't even know them. You can say you know somebody, but unless you know behind us, like, if you know you could be texting somebody, they'll be like, yeah, I'm fine, everything's all fun and dandy, but really, you know, they're probably crying behind the screen, then you might know that person a little well. But otherwise, you can't just sit and, like, act like every emotion is, like, everything but happy is wrong. Like, okay, not everybody has to be happy all the time. There's valid reasons for everything. Now, somebody can, like, not be valid in a lot of things, but that's just one thing is, emotions are a human thing, and treating them like it's not a human thing is weird. People feel more than others. That's fine. And I just think because you've learned to be this hard person where you don't like to show your emotions, that's okay. But that doesn't mean you can put others down for it. And so that's just something I always think about, how so many people, especially like adults, love to tell people, especially tell teenagers, you're so emotional, all these things. Just because your issues or your priorities and things might be different from a teenager's does not mean that their problems and issues don't matter. And so when you treat people like that, it makes them think that they don't matter. And so then that escalates and leads to a whole list of things that could be happening, right? And so I think you just have to think that you're not the same. Like, I know a friend, I know somebody that could be like, my breakup was the worst thing that ever happened to me. Like, that, a breakup at like 16 or whatever could be the worst thing that could happen to somebody, right? At that time. It could be like, well, how are the circumstances where that could be like the worst thing that's ever happened to them right then, right? That could be like the end of the world to them. 10 years from now, when they're 26, they might not see it as that serious, because they've like grown and they've grown up in things. And so I just think that maybe people should just be allowed to be who they are. Some people are like more hard than others, and that's fine. It's like a thing of people are like, you're all human beings at the end of the day, right? So you should be allowed to feel whatever you want to feel. That's just my opinion. All emotions, everybody's emotional. If we're gonna take it a sense of, oh, this person's emotional, this person's emotional, this person's emotional, but every person all of a sudden is just sad or mad at somebody. Like, anger is an emotion. I think it's like the same thing as like people shouldn't like cry over certain things. It's okay to cry. Sometimes all you need is a good cry, you know? Sometimes all you need is a good cry by yourself. But worse though is when somebody sees you crying, because then you feel guilty for crying. Don't try and make people when you try and make people feel bad for crying, that just creates a whole thing of like, oh, you're not allowed to be sad about something. It's like when you make the notion that you're only allowed to cry when somebody died or when you're hurt, it's like it's just not a good thing to put upon somebody, because then all of a sudden, then like they could be really upset. It's like, okay, so then how else? Sometimes you just gotta get it out. It's like how when you're really angry, all you want to do is yell. You notice how people are allowed to yell when they're really angry and mad, but when somebody's really sad or really going through a hard time, they're not, like, people expect them to not cry about it. Like, that's what I think about it is, if you are allowed to be this way, angry or really happy, you should allowed to be that way when you're sad or confused or whatever. It's like, you're a human being. At the end of the day, we're all human beings, and people keep forgetting that. They're human beings. We're all human beings at the end of the day. So I just think a lot of compassion can go a very long way. And that's just me personally. I think compassion and understanding that not everybody's the same. Like, I guess, like, to me, some people have anger issues. Because to me, slamming things when you're angry, that's a sign of anger issues. To me, it's like weird. Like, certain things, it goes to an extent. If you're gonna be angry and yell, go for it. Yell, I guess. If you're gonna be sad and cry all you want. If you're gonna be happy and Like, you want to jump off the walls and everything, jump off the walls. But there's a certain extent to everything, right? And so I just think that, like, something, like, you know, you could not tell me slamming things when you're mad is normal. Nobody can ever tell me that. Like, throwing things, no, that's just crash out behavior that I have to get away from. But that is just, like, it's just, like, a little thing. So I think a lot of people need to hear this, especially high schoolers or teenagers and things, because everybody likes to act like you're not allowed to feel these things. And all of a sudden, oh, you're a teenager. It's just your hormones. You're just emotional. It's just because you're a teenager now. When in reality, that's like you're downplaying the emotion, right? And so they're never actually going to work through whatever issue it is, because everybody wants to chalk it all up to just being a teenager instead of realizing human being, emotions, feelings, a person, an actual living person. And so I think that's just something to really acknowledge, is that as people get older, they find their voice and they realize things that actually do bother them, and they realize they can express it in other ways. And so sometimes people don't exactly express how something bothers them in the right way. And so I think that's just where, like, communication and understanding comes in as a human being. And I think a lot of people do forget that. But it's okay to be not okay. It is. And it's also okay to be crazy happy. Because at the end of the day, we're all people. But that's it. That's just my little TED Talk, y'all. But it's car talk. That could be a good motto. TED Talk, but car talk. That's good. Let's write that down. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.